Good morning, guys. It's a beautiful, chilly November morning, November 19th. It's about 30 degrees here. We are out here with the sheep, and I want to share some plans, at least some thoughts on what we have going on next year. Now, if you've been following along our channel, you're familiar with our sheep. You see we have our 6 sheep behind us. We have 2 rams, we have our 4 ewes, and then our pasture here was an old Christmas tree field that we fenced off. So the quality isn't the greatest, but I talk about it at length in a lot of our other videos. Sheep are gonna thrive on a lot of that lesser quality stuff, weeds, briars, things like that. They're definitely going to find things that other ruminants won't. But why we're showing them today, I want to talk a little bit about kind of our future plans and what we're looking at coming to the new year. It is November. The new year will be upon us quickly. I would suspect that we're going to have lambs here probably late winter, barring any surprises. Sheep, again, they're tough to really determine when they were bred because they don't show until really that last month or so. So right now it doesn't appear to be, and they're also filling out, even hair sheep, they're going to kind of develop that thicker winter coat. So even when they look a little bit, I guess you'd say rounder, it doesn't always necessarily mean that they are bred. So anyway, we're going to take a walk here. We're at the top of the pasture now. You can see kind of our fence line. Kind of turn it around here. You can see down the hill, the entire thing is fenced in. And then we have our electric netting here on this side because we didn't finish, and that is by design because we're going to expand off of this. But down at the bottom we actually have kind of what we call our main corral. We use that to lock them down for extra protection. Certain times of year when the coyotes are active, I'll definitely make sure they get in there every night, but for the most part they stay out on pasture here. On the opposite side of this tree line we have the other side of our high tensile as well, and that's going to take you all the way down to the bottom of the hill, kind of corners off right there, and then down and meets the corral at the bottom, and that's actually where we have our solar energizer as well. But anyway, we're going to take you into kind of where we're going to expand this year, and I'm just going to keep the camera rolling today, and we're going to kind of walk and talk here. So you can see we have this wooden brace here, and this is where we're going to kind of expand off of. Whether we're going to put a gate here or not is to be determined. Probably not, because we have one kind of right back there at the corner, so I don't know if we need another one right here, but it all depends kind of how we want to section this fencing off. Certainly learned already that you can never have too many gates, but you certainly can have too few. So if you're in question, I would say definitely put a gate in. But we'll determine this one because we're probably going to have one down here as well. So anyway, I'm standing at that wooden brace, and you can see down we already have some of our timeless posts down there on the corner, and that's going to continue down through a pretty deep gorge down into the woods. This area here between us was kind of left vacant, and the reason for that, there's Christmas trees here. So as you can imagine, November, Christmas tree harvest season, some of this stuff is starting to get thinned out. Some of this scrap stuff here that's still on here is going to get cut, and this patch here is actually going to get cleared. This is going to be new pasture for us. So pretty substantial chunk of land here. You can see several rows, and then you're going to meet these roads that are kind of built into these to separate the patches of trees, and this will kind of be one patch. So you can see back to kind of where we were, and that'll be all new pasture for us, hopefully this coming spring. Now the quality won't be great. It's not going to be your typical all grass pasture mix. We're not even going to seed this, but the sheep are going to do a great job coming in here. They're going to eat a lot of this stuff. I know I say this endlessly, but they're going to do a lot of cleanup for us, and they're going to really help work our pasture. With that though, we're going to definitely have to expand our sheep, because this is going to be quite a large chunk of pasture, even with rotating. I'm not sure how much pasture development they're going to be able to do for us. But as we continue walking here, and you see we have these plastic posts here just for temporary. We did have a wire up just in case the pigs got out, and it really didn't do much for us anyway, so those will come out. But it brings you down to this other brace where we start our timeless posts. And all this stuff was run already. We ran this late this summer. We just did not get around to closing it all off and actually energizing it. So we're gonna have some weed pressure on here for sure. But you can see then it is gonna go straight down through the gorge, and then it's gonna come all the way up to the other side. And over there we have a little fruit tree orchard, which is gonna be great eventually. I know it's inside the fence. That is kind of by design, kind of by happenstance on where we just ended up putting it. But we're gonna use that to our advantage for the different animals that we're gonna run through here. Now, when we run them down through the woods eventually, it's gonna circle all the way back around. And it comes right down actually behind our house. And then to kind of put it into perspective, when it comes down around the house, it's gonna come all the way back. I know I'll backtrack here. It's gonna come all the way back down and kind of meet at the corner of the fence, where you always see me kind of feeding the pigs and taking care of the rest of the animals there. All in, it's gonna be a pretty decent sized pasture there. I believe it's roughly 3 acres. So we should be able to run a bunch of sheep in here. Maybe eventually we'll throw pigs in, especially down here. I think I would like to get the pigs in to kind of root up a lot of this stuff and clean it up a little. It'd be pretty cool to have a nice open, like civil pasture type setup here. We'll leave our hardwoods and our pines stand, and then we'll have our grazers kind of come in underneath. That would be optimal. We're definitely years away, and I'm gonna try to trek down here right now. Hopefully I don't break my neck falling down the hill, and I'll kind of show you guys what it looks like from down here. We'll take a lap around and I'll show you kind of how it all connects together. So the fence line actually isn't too grown up, much to my surprise here. I thought for sure, without having any animals in here, that the weeds would have overtaken, but it is the time of year where that stuff starts to die back. So the big key is gonna be get something in here come spring. So here we are at the bottom. You can kind of see up. It's definitely not as long and steep on this side, but you look back kind of where we were. That's a pretty steep slope there. Pictures in these cameras, they just don't do justice, but it's definitely a good 20-30 feet above kind of where I'm standing. Like I said, looking down through this gorge, this hollow, we have a ton of these vines here in the trees. This was a nightmare when we were doing our house because, like I said, it leads right to our house there. We had to do a ton of clearing around the house there. And these vines, they are definitely ankle breakers. You know, you get tripped up on them. You can see how they're kind of hung up in the trees. Another reason why I think having pigs in here, they would do a great job. Just seeing what they did over in our other pasture, they would root up a lot of this stuff and kill off these vines. It would be great. One thing we have to worry about, kind of where we're standing here at this low point, we have all these underground springs that kind of run down through this gorge, and then they kind of run right into kind of a little spring house that we have, and that's actually where we get our water. Don't worry, we do have filtration, plenty of filtration in our house to take care of that. But with that, obviously you're gonna have damp ground here all the time. So it's definitely something we have to think about. Pigs are gonna come in here, they're gonna love the wetland. They're gonna make a mud hole though if we don't kind of paddock them out and separate them. They're probably gonna end up doing more harm than good for us. So we definitely have to be kind of strategic on how we bring pigs in here, if we bring pigs in here. The sheep have also proven to be able to do the job. It's just they're going to take a little bit longer. So it's really a matter of how much patience I have, how many animals we end up having next spring. But that's all to be determined. We'll think about that a little more, come up with a plan, and we'll let you guys know. All right, so now we're going to trek back up the other side. Like I said, this is a little bit easier. And I actually got in here throughout the summer and cleaned up a lot of this stuff. So it's pretty easy to actually get up here. Pull some of this stuff off as we go. It's definitely not a hot fence right now, so that stuff will fall off over winter anyway. All right, now we come to the top here. You can see we are going out another little field. We have more fence posts. This is where we have our little orchard. So we got a bunch of fruit trees in here. They're all looking really, really good. You can see here we got, what do we got there? Got some Macintosh. We got some plum, we got some nectarines, a bunch of apples. What do we got here? So right there we got nectarine, and then got some blueberries. So we got a ton of different trees throughout, and like I said before, we're going to use this to our advantage here in the future. It potentially could become a challenge depending what type of animal we bring in here, but a simple roll of electric netting around this stuff will protect the trees from destruction there. But the harvest that we're going to get in years to come, I plan on really using for our pigs. Sheep, not so much. They're not going to really go for that stuff. I'm sure they'd eat it, but that's not really your ideal feed for sheep. But for pigs especially, it'll be great. Now this is an overgrown area. I can see that. Like I said, we just didn't have animals in here this year, and that's fine. As long as we have wood chips kind of around all the different trees, they're going to be fine. You're not going to get that weed pressure that kind of chokes that stuff out. So eventually next year we'll come in, we'll hack this stuff off, we'll kind of start fresh. And again, the goal will be get more animals in here and kind of keep the whole pasture maintained. So that'll bring us to the end of the line here, the very far corner. This is actually at the top of our driveway. And then across the street here, you can see the pasture that I always talk about that we're gonna fence off for the coming spring. So the fencing will run kind of down through, it really borders our driveway and then runs down. You can see the house kind of there through the wood line. And then it's gonna run right, it's basically gonna run right behind the house, and we're gonna go all the way back over where I'm pointing. And then to put it into perspective, kind of where we came from, a little bit of elevation change. I can see the sheep at the top of the ridge, kind of right there. High on the ridge. You know, they stick out at this time of year when it's brown like this, they stick out from a mile away. So we're definitely pretty far out, you know, a couple hundred yards from where we started. And this all throughout here is gonna be pasture. So we're excited on what's to come for next year. Obviously we have a lot of pasture to kind of develop here. We have a lot to maintain, which is always a big challenge. So we're definitely gonna need more animals, and I really just want to kind of share our future plans for our pasture as I'm out on the road now. And you can see this is also gonna be pasture here. So with that, like I said a couple times already, we're gonna need a bunch more animals, and we'll talk about that a different day. We'll take another walk and I'll kind of share my thoughts there. Definitely gonna add some sheep. I definitely wanna, I'll say probably go up to about 10, 12 sheep next year already. Again, hopefully we get some lambs. That way it's not all cost on our end, and we get something back from the animals we already have. But we also want to start harvesting some. So more to come on that. We'll talk more about our future plans with animals coming soon. But again, I just wanted to show you guys kind of where we're at right now with our pasture, what we want to do for the next year, because this is a great time of year to get planning. Before you know it, you know, the holidays are going to be here. I mean, it's Thanksgiving already next week, which is just crazy. Then Christmas is coming, and we definitely take a lot of downtime around then anyway. Definitely probably one of our favorite times of the year here. So you got to plan now, and then as soon as Christmas hits, we're definitely going to have to do some more planning and start taking action, because the new year hits and it's off like a shot. You start your seeds for your gardens, and it's really no looking back at that point. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us today. If you like what we're doing, we really appreciate your support. Please subscribe to our channel. You can always help us out by giving us a like, drop some questions, comments in. We're happy to hear from you. We're happy to interact with whoever's crazy enough to watch us out there. And again, we really appreciate it. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's a beautiful November day, like I said, and take care, guys. We'll be with you soon.